Welcome to your Houston Rewind for the first week of 2023. I'm KHU 11 digital anchor Brandy Smith. We know catching up on the news can be a little overwhelming, especially in a city like Houston where it just doesn't stop. So every weekend, we take this opportunity to fill you in on some of the stories you may have missed. Let's rewind. A North Houston family is counting its blessings after a bullet missed their 3-year-old's head by mere inches on New Year's Eve. The family blamed celebratory gunfire. Monday, Lauren Tallarico spoke to the mother, who was still shaken.
You bet. Talk about scary. Celebratory gunfire is a problem in Houston. We already knew about a 12-year-old who was injured because of it, and then you hear about these near misses, and you just hope people get the message. It is not worth it.
A family party to ring in the new year in North Houston. Dancing followed by a tradition.
We do a prayer for the new year for protection.
A prayer answered minutes later for Yesenia Martinez.
Right after we did that, my aunt comes running out of the house screaming, "Oh, the bullet just went in the house." And then she points at the window and she's like, "Look."
A bullet hole into the room her 3-year-old daughter is watching TV. The TV busted because of it. The bullet then lodged in the wall.
I couldn't wrap my head around it until, when it finally hit, I was like, oh my God, my baby almost got killed. This would have hit my baby's head. She would have been dead.
On New Year's Eve, our cameras captured celebratory gunfire all across Houston. A yearly problem that authorities try to stop. This year, HPD says they arrested 5 people because of it. Even Yesenia heard it throughout the night.
We're used to hearing the shooting and the fireworks at the same time.
But often it's a crime that goes unpunished, regardless of the damage and fear it leaves behind.
How are you doing now a couple days later?
I try not to think about it. I'll randomly cry. Right now I'm shaking. I could have lost my baby.
I'm Lauren Tallarico, KHOU 11 News.
Several new laws take effect in Texas in 2023, including a law that limits how much in property taxes school districts can levy on the elderly or disabled. Zach Tawatari explained on Monday.
New year, new laws.
The state in the past 2 biennial legislative sessions have passed probably more laws to restrict what local and county governments can do.
Which KHOU political expert Bob Stein says includes SB 12, a new property tax that limits how much public school districts can tax elderly or disabled people. The bill does include a rule that funds will be given to schools that face a budget shortfall because of the change. So how will this affect schools?
I think even particularly in rural school districts where many of the people in those communities that you're losing population are elderly people because they're not moving away. They're staying there. They own their homes, and now they're getting a great tax relief. Who is there left to tax to educate those children?
Next up, HB 3774. An omnibus bill that, among other things, restructures state courts and allows access to state court documents with Texas Supreme Court authorization.
I think the justification here was mostly workload, and the other was, just to be blunt, fairly political in order to take away the influence of some of the bigger urban areas.
And with the next legislative session around the corner, Stein sees a debate forming around how to spend in this budget.
$27 billion surplus.
And a number of major issues being presented. First and foremost, abortion, for which there are few exceptions under Texas law.
In the Texas polls, we see the voters in Texas they favor some type of exceptions and even wider access in the legislature. So this is going to be an issue that I think may not necessarily get settled, but it'll be debated.
Border control.
It's the overwhelming #1 most important issue in the minds of voters in Texas.
Says Stein is another pressing issue.
You can't keep on sending people seeking asylum from Houston and to the vice president's residence in Washington and expect that's a form of border control.
Other notable items, he says, include legalizing marijuana and expanding Medicaid. And while Stein says 800 to 1,000 bills are pre-filed and the vast majority will not be enacted, there is a lot to learn from this next session.
What's important here is it tells you what the sense of the legislature is.
Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 News.
A man diagnosed with terminal cancer is spreading positivity and inspiration in a unique way, traveling the country, asking strangers to get matching tattoos with him. Houston Texans player Mario Addison and others granted his wish at a Northside tattoo parlor Monday. Photojournalist Eric Dorelius was there.
How are you, bro?
Yeah.
Today I've had 638 people. In the summer of 20, I decided that after sitting in my son's back patio one day that the only thing I'd take with me is memories. I mean, and more than likely it's cancer to kill me, but literally started going around asking total strangers if they want to get a matching tattoo to make a memory that I could take with me when I pass away.
Share tattoos with him, so his name gonna live forever. He always be known as the cool guy, the cool man, with the dope beard and a million tattoos, man. And his name gonna carry on long after him, and I'm gonna make sure that also. That's why I wanted to make sure I get a tattoo with him, if I can, keep his story going.
I've done more in the last 2.5 years than I probably did in the last 20 prior.
It just opened my eyes, man, and it just make me appreciate all the little things, because you can't take none of it for granted.
It's been an amazing journey, I tell you. I mean, just by putting yourself out there and not being afraid of the word no, you'd be amazed how many people are in this world that'll just accept you in and just, treat you good. I mean, there are more good people in this world than bad.
Don's been on this journey for a little more than a year. So far, he's collected more than 600 matching tattoos. A woman says she survived being kidnapped and held hostage for 5 days, allegedly by a man she met on a dating app. Tuesday, that man was out on bond as Marcelino Benito dug into the disturbing allegations against him.
The details in these court documents are difficult to hear. The two had met on Bumble, but it quickly spiraled and turned into a nightmare just before Christmas.
This certainly is not something you see every day.
When Harris County Precinct 4 deputy constables responded to this apartment complex off Kirkendall on December 29th, they found a young woman in desperate need of help.
The victim in this case had severe injuries to her face, to her orbital sockets, her lower extremities, and thankfully we were able to get her to a hospital very, very quickly.
Detectives learned the woman had met 21-year-old Zachary Mills on the dating app Bumble. They'd exchanged a few messages, but had never met face-to-face.
They eventually decided to meet up in person on December 24th.
According to deputies, the nightmare began as soon as she walked inside Mills' apartment. Court documents detail gruesome allegations. The victim told investigators Mills immediately tried having sex with her. When she denied his advances, the physical assaults began. First with a closed fist, then biting her neck and face. She claimed Mills struck her with a screwdriver handle and alleges multiple sexual assaults.
From that point forward, he did not let her leave, and he was withholding food, water. She was not allowed to leave the apartment for 4 to 5 days.
Investigators say she got away on December 29th when Mills left the apartment to visit his father. On December 30th, Precinct 4 constables arrested Mills at a gas station across from his apartment. He's now charged with aggravated kidnapping. Mills' attorney doesn't buy it.
There are some egregious allegations, but I have not seen anything in the allegations that would make these necessarily credible.
Precinct 4 says its investigation continues. In the meantime, they're urging anyone who uses online dating apps to be more cautious.
Try to meet in a public setting, ideally meet in a group setting, and really do what you can to try to get to know individuals before you find yourself in a one-on-one situation.
Mills was released on a $50,000 bond, but is under house arrest tonight. He's due back in court next month. I'm Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
The family of a beloved mechanic hopes a reward will help track down the people who killed him, execution style. Tuesday, Jason Miles spoke to the people who loved him and say they're emotionally drained and exhausted, but committed to keeping this case in the news until whoever did it is caught.
As this makeshift memorial to 29-year-old Luis Casillas grows on the very spot where he died,
he begged for his life, and they didn't care.
So does a yearning for justice among his family.
I don't want anybody to go to the same pain that we're going through.
Sister Sandy Casillas and others who joined HPD and Crime Stoppers today say it's possible something like this could happen again with 6 suspects still at large.
They're a danger to our community, and I don't want our community to be in that kind of danger.
Police say they're speaking to witnesses in the North Freeway Auto Shop complex where the crime occurred back on December 23rd and have surveillance video from at least one business.
I mean, we have an individual just before Christmas who's working on another person's vehicle, and he's ultimately executed in broad daylight in front of other people.
They're still working leads before releasing any images, but do say they're looking for 2 lowered Chevy Silverado pickups, maroon and tan in color.
Somebody knows something, somebody has said something, and we just ask you to come forward to assist in this investigation.
Crime Stoppers is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to arrests.
The only thing that we have is our memories and him in our heart.
Something that may bring some solace to a grieving family.
The 6 suspects are all believed to be in their late teens and early 20s. There's been social media chatter about their potential identities, but police won't comment on that in order to uphold the integrity of their investigation. An ancient wooden artifact featured at the Houston Museum of Natural Science is back in Egypt after U.S. authorities determined it was stolen years ago. Ron Trevino explained Tuesday.
A giant artifact has been returned to Egypt 15 years after it was stolen and smuggled out of the country. It was handed over during a ceremony in Cairo. It had been featured at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. The museum declined on-camera interviews, but did issue a statement by email saying, in part, HMNS has never owned the artifact and was not involved with its removal from the Arab Republic of Egypt. As a courtesy, once we learned of the circumstances regarding the piece, we facilitated its immediate return. HMNS is fully supportive of repatriation efforts for antiquities illegally removed from their country of origin. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office determined the sarcophagus was looted north of Cairo, then smuggled through Germany into the U.S. in 2008. The green sarcophagus, named so because the green face on it, dates back to the late period of ancient Egypt and is one of the biggest, the lid itself weighing more than 1,000 pounds, which is probably why the thieves only took that piece without the base. Over the past 10 years, Egypt has recovered more than 29,000 pieces smuggled out of the country. Now they can add the green sarcophagus. Its stay in Houston is now over. Ron Trevino, KHOU 11 News.
Jury selection begins next month for the 3rd murder trial of A.J. Armstrong. He's the young man accused of killing his parents back when he was 16 in 2016. Wednesday, tears streamed down his face as his grandparents spoke out in his defense. Matt Doherty shared their emotional plea for prosecutors to leave their grandson alone.
A.J. Armstrong has been tried twice for his parents' murders. Both have resulted in hung juries. Jury selection in the 3rd trial of A.J. Armstrong will begin next month. It's not what his family members wanted to hear.
Our family thought and grieves.
Our family has been through tremendous grief, anxiety, and pain for the last 6 years. We lost our beautiful daughter,
and our
my son.
Yes.
Our family has been through so much hell behind all of this.
Back in 2016, Armstrong's parents, former NFL player Antonio Armstrong Sr. and his wife Dawn Armstrong, were both asleep in their bed at their Bel Air home when they were shot at close range with a .22 caliber pistol. Prosecutors say A.J., who had a tumultuous relationship with his parents, killed them after an argument. They say alarm company records for the home show he was the only person who could have been the shooter. Defense attorneys argued the alarm system was faulty and that A.J.'s older brother, diagnosed with schizophrenia, may have been the killer. 2 separate juries have not been able to decide what is the truth.
This is ridiculous. This is a waste of taxpayer dollars. It's a waste of the court's time. They're putting this family through absolute trauma, grief, and anxiety.
Prosecutors did not comment outside the courtroom today. Armstrong's family members want District Attorney Kim Ogg to drop the case.
What evidence are they going to bring to this trial the 3rd time? Or is the district attorney's office attempting to bankrupt our family? And will they just keep on trying?
In West Houston, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Southwest Airlines is giving away Rapid Rewards miles, trying to earn back customer support after last week's travel nightmare. But now a Louisiana man is suing and wants his case to become a class action lawsuit. Stephanie Whitfield visited Hobby Airport for that story.
That lawsuit claims Southwest offered credits for canceled flights rather than refunds. We talked to at least one passenger who's in that same situation.
It may be a new year, but many Southwest Airlines customers are not ready to turn the page after more than 15,000 flights were canceled over the holidays due to an operational meltdown. The number one question now, when will people get their money back from Southwest?
I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to get refunded, right? That's what they've made clear to me, so I don't know any other way.
Fallon Zielinski says a Southwest rep told her the wanna get away ticket she bought was non-refundable. In a letter to the airline, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said Southwest must provide refunds to passengers within 7 days if they paid by credit card and within 20 days if they paid by cash or check. Brian Kelly, founder of the Points Guy travel website, says he's already seeing refunds.
We've had writers at the Points Guy who were impacted, and they surprisingly got pretty quick resolution. So I wouldn't waste a lot of your time following up right away. Give it at least a week. But I am confident that they're going to be pretty generous with their compensation.
Tuesday, Southwest Airlines announced affected travelers will get 25,000 frequent flyer points for their troubles. That's worth more than $300 in tickets.
It'll take time to earn customer confidence back again, since there have been reports of delays and cancellations again this week in other parts of the country. Southwest saying it's because of weather and air traffic control issues. Back to you.
KHU 11 is your education station, and for the next couple of weeks, we're highlighting the hard work and dedication of local recipients of the Greater Houston Frontiers Club annual MLK Junior Scholarship. Wednesday, Maria Aguilera explained how the scholarship goes beyond financial aid and serves as a support system as well.
Most scholarships are go do your interview, woohoo, you got the money, and we're out the door.
Trinity Parker is one of more than 1,000 students who has received the Greater Houston Frontiers Club Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship. She says the scholarship went beyond financial support.
I really like the fact that they continue to check in with their recipients as time goes on throughout their college journey.
Parker was awarded the scholarship as a senior in 2018. Fast forward to now, she's a public health major with just 2 semesters left at Xavier University in Louisiana. Soon, she'll enroll in her master's degree. When she applied for the scholarship, she was asked about the hardest moment in her life. For Parker, it was the loss of her grandfather and how it affected her family.
He was a person that was very, very vital in my life as far as becoming the person who I am, you know, core values and all of that good stuff, morals and stuff that each person holds dear to them. He put a lot of that into me.
Loss has made her stronger. And while she's proud of where she is now, Parker says her journey has not been easy.
I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the support system that I do have. And I'm so grateful to the members of the Greater Houston Frontiers Club that have poured into me and saw something in me when I didn't see it in myself.
She encourages others to chase their dreams. It has a simple message for students.
I would say to apply to everything out there. Any scholarship that is available to you, apply to it, because you never know the outcome.
Maria Aguilera, KHOU 11 News.
Be a dream builder. Support a student's college aspirations by making a donation. All you have to do is point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen. That will help us reach our goal to provide scholarships for more than 70 high school seniors this spring. Thursday, Montgomery County unveiled a new phone app for all 6 of its school districts. That's 130 schools. But the Texas Education Agency wants all schools to make the same move. Anieli Ruiz looked at the reasons for and against adopting so-called panic buttons.
Technology aimed to keeping students in the classroom safe. Montgomery County just signed a 3-year contract with Rave Panic Button.
When you press that button, as long as you're an authorized user in a designated area, we're going to immediately connect you to 911.
Once that button is pressed, it'll blast out to everyone who has the app on their cell phone.
So it not only calls 911, it also notifies everyone else on campus. The other thing it does is it notifies all of our 911 centers at the same time.
The Texas Education Agency has actually proposed that panic alert technologies be implemented at all Texas schools as a new safety rules for later this year. Matter of fact, 1 month after Uvalde, they allocated a $7.1 million grant for this. But that money is just a drop in the bucket. If they were to divide it equally between all their 1,200 school districts in the state, it would be $14,250 per district. To put that in perspective, the panic button technology Montgomery County is now using cost about $170,000 a year for 6 districts. Money some national security experts don't think is worth it.
There's a skewed focus on physical security, hardware technology, security products, less focus on training, and end result is a lot of security theater.
You see, a similar system was actually in place in Uvalde on the day of their tragic shooting. An employee triggered an internal alert system that blasted out notifications to school employees that the campus had gone under lockdown.
It did work to a certain degree. I mean, it warned people and it warned law enforcement that there was an intruder.
But Senator Roland Gutierrez, who represents the Uvalde area, says these silent panic alert technologies are just a band-aid to the real problem.
There are remedies on both sides of the aisle, but they're not really addressing the real core problem, which is we're putting assault rifles in the hands of 18-year-olds.
The TEA is still working on other proposed safety rules, including a 6-foot fence around schools. To see those proposals, check out this article on khou.com. If you woke up feeling a little under the weather this week, yeah, that could be because Cedar Fever has arrived. Tree pollen counts are way up. So Thursday, Cheetah Craft broke down how to fight allergies this winter.
Cedar Fever is an annual event in Texas, but why do so many people start sniffling and sneezing come wintertime? Let's break it down. Cedar fever is an allergic reaction to the pollen released by mountain cedar trees. In Texas, that means the ash juniper. And according to Texas A&M, the problem is particularly bad in Texas because we have so many junipers and they are releasing massive amounts of pollen into the air all at the same time. And we do mean massive. You might have seen video before of these trees releasing their pollen. They look like they are on fire as clouds of pollen rise into the air. That means it can affect people even without allergies. The pollen simply overwhelms the immune system. Ugh. The other problem is when this pollen is released. Unlike most trees, winter is the cedar tree's favorite time to pollinate, and that means after a cold front, when the air dries out, juniper trees open up. It coincides with cold and flu season, creating a sniffling, sneezing nightmare. When it comes to treating it, there isn't much more you can do than allergy medication or listening to the forecast. When your favorite meteorologist warns that the cedar will be high, avoid the outdoors if you can and keep the windows and doors closed.
We got our first look at the full 2023 Rodeo Houston entertainment lineup on Thursday. A few of the big names: Luke Bryan, New Kids on the Block, and Houston's own Bun B. Photojournalist Renee Levine got the rundown.
Good evening and welcome. We are live inside NRG Stadium.
This has been a very busy entertainment year. We've got a tremendous lineup of stars.
Oh, I'm very excited. I can't wait.
You guys ready to find out who's going to play at the show?
And now, here's your 2023 Rodeo Houston entertainer lineup. Tuesday, February 28th, Texas native singer-songwriter Parker McCullum.
Lots of people are out touring, and so the big challenge this year was getting the artists' calendar to coincide with our calendar.
Brooks and Dunn. March 2nd, two-time Grammy Award winner Christian artist Lauren Daigle. March 3rd, featuring Bun B's Southern Takeover.
I'm thrilled. Why? Because I cannot wait to see Bun B. I can't wait to see what he does.
Southern culture is a big part of life as well. They're cowboys. They understand rodeo lifestyle. So I said, let's make this about the South this time.
Machine Gun Kelly. March 15th, country music icon Kenny Chesney.
Absolutely. Kenny Chesney, I wouldn't miss it. I've been following Kenny Chesney since people thought his tractor was sexy.
New Kids on the Block. Wednesday, March 8th.
New Kids on the Block, that was my people.
You know what? I'm definitely like a 90s, 80s kid. I might need to go and relive my youth a little bit.
We're going to celebrate a great 2023.
The rodeo starts February 28th, goes to March 19th. Let's rodeo. We can't wait to see you in Houston.
Alex Mueller announced early Friday morning she is contesting the results of the 2022 election. It was a close race, but the Republican candidate lost to Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo. Now, 2 months later, Mueller says she made the decision to challenge the results over concerns about voter suppression. Stephanie Whitfield got reaction from both sides of the aisle.
The statement from Alexandra de Moral Mueller came in just before midnight. The reason? Today at 5 p.m. is the deadline to file an election contest. This is the statement the Republican candidate posted on Twitter announcing the decision to file an election contest. She says every Harris County voter should be deeply concerned about voter suppression and welcome full transparency to ensure free and fair elections. KHOU 11 political analyst Bob Stein explains the challenge requests that votes cast on Election Day be thrown out and a new election held. This because irregularities at several polling places on Election Day discouraged people from casting their votes. Harris County Attorney Christian Menefee, who's a Democrat, called the election contest shameful.
It's a slap in the face to the voters, the everyday folks who get up, go to work, and make time to participate in the democratic process. You lost. No matter what type of minor process issues there may have been, you lost. Accept it, move on like the rest of the voters who are mature and have lives have done.
He says 3 Harris County Republicans, including Mueller, have filed election contests. He expects as many as 15 filings by the end of the day. We have, of course, reached out to Judge Lina Hidalgo's office for a response and have yet to hear back. But earlier this week, she announced she's taking a leave of absence to travel to Colombia to be with her sick grandfather. Back to you.
Houston's newest golf course is now open right along Buffalo Bayou east of downtown. Matt Musil took us to East River Friday.
Head south from I-10 on Waco Street and look for the big red fire engine. That marks the entrance to East River.
So welcome to East River. East River is the largest undeveloped tract inside Houston's 610 loop. It's 150 acres. We've got a mile of water frontage along the Buffalo Bayou above the 500-year floodplain. So it's really a remarkable part of Houston that many have not experienced before.
This is like a little oasis in Edo.
Absolutely. Yeah, a little hideaway is the term that's been kind of thrown around. Yeah, it's in the 5th Ward. It's only a mile east of downtown, very easy to get to. We're close to St. Arnold Brewery, the original NEPA's on Navigation, so those are 2 landmarks that we share.
This is much more than just a 9-hole golf course. It has a full-service driving range and multiple pickleball courts. There's a clubhouse with pro shop and a full-service restaurant and bar. Plus, the golf course is fully lighted.
And so right now, in the wintertime, when the sun's setting early around 5 o'clock, you come out after work, you can actually play 9 holes under the lights.
Hope that helped you catch up on this past week and you are ready for the next one. Remember, you can tune into KHOU 11 on air, online via KHOU.com and YouTube, as well as by using our KHOU 11 Plus app on Roku and Fire TV. Have a great week.